When Panasonic and Olympus announced Micro Four Thirds, they'd broken new boundaries in creating a smaller camera body fitted around a DSLR sensor. Hi, I'm Matt Grayson, and today Photos TV are taking a look at the Panasonic G1, the first camera to bear this brand new system. The camera offers a 12 million pixel live MOS sensor, 23 autofocus points, and up to 3 frames per second continuous shooting. So what is live MOS and how does the Micro Four Thirds system work? Well, live MOS is what Panasonic and Olympus call their sensor. They say you can get the picture quality of a CCD but with the low power consumption of a CMOS. Now if we take the lens off by pressing the silver button there and twisting it around like you would do on a normal DSLR, you can see there that the sensor is exposed and open. There's no mirror covering it. And that's how they've made the camera smaller. They've removed the mirror box and also the prism that's inside here. That means you don't get an optical viewfinder. It isn't in fact an EVF or electronic viewfinder, or as Panasonic like to call it, an LVF or live viewfinder. What they've also done is made the lens mount 6mm smaller, so you can only fit the Micro Four Thirds lenses on. Well, that's not exactly true. The Micro Four Thirds lenses can't fit onto a normal 4/3 camera, but you can get a special adapter at additional cost to fit the normal 4/3 lenses onto the Micro Four Thirds body. The distance between the lens mount and the sensor has also been halved, which means you get a much slimmer body. So if we take a quick look around the camera, you'll notice that this one comes fitted with the 14-45 lens, which is image stabilized, or Mega OIS, as Panasonic like to call it. Noticeably is the lack of Leica branding. This lens has not actually got the Leica name on it, more than likely because they didn't provide the schematics for the design. Panasonic will have done it themselves. Moving on to the top of the camera, it's laid out much like a DSLR, although it is worth noting at this point that Panasonic have never said this is a DSLR. People would be up in arms with the lack of mirror box and prism if they tried to say that. On the left here is a focus dial for going through single, continuous or manual focusing. Bit of a non-entity really in my opinion. This could easily be put as a switch or even put into the menu system. So having a big old dial on the side here really isn't necessary. I understand it's only small, but it's bigger than what it really could be. Dedicated hot shoe there, and then on the other side is your mode dial for your program aperture, shutter priority and manual, as well as custom options, your scene modes, as well as some pre-programmed modes, and IA, which is intelligent auto, as Panasonic like to call it, which is their new version of auto. Now this does stick up quite high because it's got a couple of switches underneath it. One is for your drive options, single, continuous bracketing and self timer. Now I like the fact that with some cameras, if you press the self timer, switch it onto the self timer, once you've taken the picture it goes back to single shooting. Because this is a dedicated switch, it won't do that. It's going to stay on self timer until you're ready to take it off, giving you more control. The on off switch is just underneath there. Your Q menu is your quick menu, which many people give it different names, but this is basically just quick access to your most used features. And your film mode is, for instance, things like black and white, sepia mode, things like that. And it's just quick access to that. Now you notice under the shutter release is a manoeuvrable dial, or finger dial as some people like to call it. That is for altering either the shutter speed or aperture, depending on which mode you're in. If you're in manual and you want to flick between the two, there's no dedicated button for doing this. What you have to do is alter one, for instance your shutter speed, click the dial in and it will switch over to the aperture from there, and then you can alter the dial on the back of the screen there as well. So I've set up this chessboard just to show you some of the different film modes that are available. First of all, the focus is falling on the forward chess pieces that are nearest to the camera. If I want to change that, I can go into the custom menu on the menu system, which is the C with a spanner, go to direct AF area and switch that to on. Then using your navigational pad you can actually move that around and say okay, I want to focus there instead. This will then give enough of the background priority to throw the front out of focus, and I can then say okay, I just want to get a shot of that to start with. There we go, that's pretty. So to show the colours though, we'll focus on the front ones which have got nicer colour. The film mode, which is on top of the button, on top of the camera, will bring up the different film modes available. So you've got standard, dynamic range, nature for outdoors, smooth, nostalgic, which gives a kind of faded effect, vibrant, which saturates the colours slightly, black and white, which takes the colours away, dynamic black and white, and a couple of custom ones as well. So we'll show you the we've just done the standard one. Well, we'll do the standard one again, but this time on these colours here. We'll just use a self-timer so we get the photograph perfectly still. Go to the film mode again. And we'll say, this time we'll go to smooth. Now what I also want to show you on this is if I go into smooth, I can then press down and I can change different areas of this. This is contrast, sharpness, colour saturation, and noise reduction. You'll see it with a title there, so so that you're more certain of what that's going to be. And you can increase or decrease these as you see fit. It will actually show you it happening in the camera as well, which is quite a nice feature. We'll sharpen that and give it a little bit of contrast as well. And we'll shoot that. Okay, now if we switch over to vibrant, which is a much different one to what we're doing, we're going to just get a shot of that as well. And there we go. Now, despite its diminutive size, the camera is actually really easy to hold. The grip is well contoured to grip any size hands. I do find that I have to bring my finger slightly back further than what is comfortable for me, but it's not imposing too much. You can sit nicely taking photographs, or you can hold it out at arm's length and use your screen to take photographs with instead by switching it round and having it facing the back. Now the screen is 400,000 dots, which you have to divide by 3, which is about 1.3 times to give you the amount of pixels it is. The viewfinder is 1.4 million dots, which is 466,000 pixels, 467,000 pixels if you want to round it up. That's actually more than what some of the top DSLRs from Nikon or Canon are actually putting on their monitors. And that's in the viewfinder alone. So Panasonic realised that even though you're losing the optical viewfinder, they still know that you think it's important enough to have a really good LVF in there, and it is very good. It's lovely and bright. There's no motion blur at all. You also notice these two sensors here. These are eye detection sensors, and when you move your camera up to take a photograph, whatever's on here will be blanked out so that it's not glaring up into your eye and putting you off taking your photographs. So thanks to us here at Photozine TV, you've seen the Panasonic G1, you're the first ones to get the review. It's a really nice camera. When I first heard about Micro Four Thirds, I was a little bit unsure about it. Looking more into it, I can see its benefits. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, so I don't like to see the prism or the mirror box being lost. But if you think about it in terms of picture quality, without the mirror there clunking up and down and vibrating the camera, it means your pictures may actually get that little bit sharper.